Welcome to Boomers and Beyond. This is the podcast where we celebrate living boldly, loving deeply, and refusing to let age define our limits. I'm your host, Antionette Blake, better known as the Delaware blogger or the DE Diva, and I am so grateful you are here with me today. Every Saturday at 10 a.m., we gather right here to talk about the things that matter most to the 55 plus community. Health and wellness, finances, connection, purpose, travel, and the beautiful, complicated, extraordinary business of living your best life at this stage. Now, this is a space for real conversation, for practical wisdom, for inspiration that actually applies to where we are now. And for the remainder of the most vibrant chapters of your story are not behind you. They may just be ahead. Welcome back to Boomers and Beyond. This is a podcast where we talk about the stuff that actually matters in this season of life. And I'm so glad that you're here today. Now, spring is here, right? First day of spring is actually next week, even though we had that snowstorm in Smyrna the other day. But the day before, we had the windows open, the birds were back. And if you're anything like me, you've walked past a closet. You know the closet I'm talking about. At least walked by it 3 times this week. And every time you close the door, it gets just a little bit faster. So today we're going to talk about something that so many of us in the 55 plus crowd carry around like invisible weight: our stuff. The thing we've collected, inherited, loved, and held on to, and why letting go of any of it can feel so much harder than it should. Now, this isn't a show about minimalism. I'm not here to tell you to live with 10 possessions and a meditation cushion. This is about something much more personal, about figuring out what you're really holding on to and whether it's serving you or just taking up space, physical and emotional space. So grab your coffee, your tea, or whatever you're comfortable with, and let's dig in. Let's start with the emotional weight of things. Why it's so much harder for us. I think it's really important that first of all, if decluttering feels hard for you, it's not a character flaw. It's not laziness. It's deeply human. And here's the thing. For those of us in our 50s, 60s, and 70s, and even beyond, our relationship with our belongings is layered in ways that younger generations don't fully understand, at least not yet. Let's think about this. Our stuff isn't just stuff. It's the china our mothers set the table with every Thanksgiving. It's the tools in the garage that belong to a father or a husband who is no longer here. It's the baby clothes from children who are now grown with children of their own. Every object can be a time capsule, a memory, an identity. And on top of that, many of us grew up in households where we did not waste anything, where things had value, where keeping something just in case was practical wisdom, not hoarding. That mindset is hard to shake. And honestly, in many ways, it shouldn't be completely shaken, but it does need to be examined. There's always something else happening for our generation. Specifically, many of us are in a transition period. Kids have moved out. Maybe the house just feels too big. Maybe we're thinking about downsizing, or we've already moved and are surrounded by boxes of things that we don't know where to put. Maybe we've lost a spouse or a sibling, and now we're the keeper of 2 lifetimes of belongings. These are not small things to sort through, and the physical act of decluttering is always an emotional act, especially at this stage of life. So, the guilt factor, right? You say, but what will happen to it? I want to spend just a few minutes on the guilt factor because I hear this constantly and I've felt it myself. It sounds a little bit like this. I can't get rid of that. It was my grandmom's. Or my kids might want this someday. Or the classic, I paid good money for that. So let's take a look at those one at a time. The inherited items. Those are probably the hardest to get rid of because when someone we loved is gone, their belongings become stand-in for them. Getting rid of the item can feel like getting rid of the person or the memory or even the connection to our own history. So I want to offer you a refrain here. The memory lives in you, not in the object. A photograph, a story you wrote down, or even just the act of holding something one more time and really saying goodbye. These can be ways to honor the person without keeping every single thing. Now the kids, grown up, this one, right? Many of us might have boxes that says labeled for the boys, labeled for the kids, and they've been sitting in the basement or in the attic for 15 plus years. Here's the truth, the gentle truth. Your adult children probably don't want any of it, most of it, and it's okay. Ask them. Have you asked them? Actually ask them. Before you assume, give them a chance to claim what matters to them, and then release the rest without guilt. Their memories of you are not stored in your collection of decorative plates and spoons and all that other stuff. And now the third one, the sunk cost. I paid good money for that. Well, guess what? The money's already spent. Keeping something that you don't use is not going to bring that money back. So donating it, selling it, or gifting it to someone else who can actually use it, it gives it a second life. It's not a waste. It's generosity. So it's not just about clean closets. No, conscious clearing is a totally different approach. And if you listen to my Out and About with Antionette podcast, then you heard the interview I had with Kim Brzezinski. And she has a company that helps people consciously clean and contain their items. And we talked about that. So go check out that podcast episode as well, because the idea behind conscious clearing is it's not that you're just sorting items to keep or donate or trash. You're doing something much more intentional. You're asking yourself, does this item align with who I am now? Not who I was 20 years ago, but who you are today, not who you are becoming. And that is such a powerful question because so many of us are in genuine transition, retirement, empty nests, health changes, the loss of people we love. We're not the same people we were when we were in our 40s. And in our homes, in many ways, it hasn't caught up with who we've become. Conscious clearing also acknowledges the grief that can come up with the process. You might sit down to clean out a closet and find yourself crying. That's not a sign that you should stop. That's a sign that something meaningful is happening. You're processing, you're releasing, and it can actually be a form of healing. And Kim and I, we talked about how clearing space physically can create space emotionally and mentally. How the weight we carry in our homes is often a reflection of the weight that we carry inside, and how lightening one can lighten the other. Like that? Yeah. So let's do some practical steps to get started. Starting small and starting with intention. So how do you actually begin? Especially when it feels so daunting or overwhelming. First of all, don't try to do it all at once. Please, that's a disaster that's a recipe for disaster. That can become overwhelming and you give up. Instead, choose one small area, one drawer, one shelf, one box. Give yourself 30 minutes, not 3 days. Second, before you start, set an intention. I know, sounds like a woo, woo, woo. I know, but stick with me. Ask yourself, what do I want this space or this season of my life to feel like? Lighter, more peaceful, more like me, and then hold on to that intention as you sort. Third, create 3 categories, but adjust the language. Instead of keep, donate, trash, try this. Serves me now, serves someone else, and ready to release. These small shifts can help you change your mindset. Fourth, give yourself permission to feel whatever comes up. Happiness, sadness, nostalgia, even relief. All of this is valid. If someone brings up a big emotion, set it aside. If something really just, go back to it. You don't have to decide everything in one sitting. And last but not least, celebrate the small wins. You've cleared that shelf, that drawer. That matters. That is just one less thing between you and the life that you want to be living right now. So, as we head into spring, I want to leave you with this thought. This season has always been about renewal, about things coming back to life, about fresh starts. And I think there's something really beautiful about using this time to look around your home, your life, and ask, what do I want to carry forward? And what am I ready to set down? You've earned things that mattered. You've lived a full life that is represented in the rooms of your home. And you get to decide right now what the next chapter looks like, what it feels like, how much room there is for new experiences, new joy, and new ease. So letting go is not giving up. It's making space. And sometimes the most generous thing we can do for ourselves and for the people we love is to lighten the load. So thank you all for spending some time with me today, Boomers and Beyond. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a family, friend, maybe someone who's been putting off cleaning out that closet like the rest of us. And until the next time, take good care of yourselves. Open up that closet door. Open up those windows. Get started. And that, my friends, is a wrap on today's episode of Boomers and Beyond. And if this is a show that you look forward to and it made you think or laugh or feel a little less alone in this season of life, I would be so grateful if you would take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Your words help new listeners to find this show, and every new listener makes this community stronger, and it means the world to me. And make sure you come back next Saturday at 10 a.m. because we'll have new topics for our 55 plus community members. And if you know someone in your life who needs to hear what we talked about today, a family member, a friend, your bae, your boo, someone who's going through it, please share this episode with them. And you can leave me a Facebook comment, LinkedIn, Instagram, even TikTok, because I read all the comments. I'm Antionette Blake, the Delaware blogger, the DE Diva, and this has been Boomers and Beyond. Stay well, stay bold, stay curious, and always remember, the best is still ahead of you. See ya! It's the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger.